Oh. All right, welcome to evidence-based audio engineering and sometimes education. This is Pipeline Audio, and this is number 193, and this is Sphincter Says What? If any of you guys are actually old enough to remember Wayne's World, that was one of their common gags, but man, it really applies. I know we do a lot of forum meta and stuff in here, but it just needs to be said. So first of all, I can't remember. Things got a little bit hectic last week. If we mentioned that Jacob Hansen, friend of the show, friend of AIX DSP, I think I can say that, has a drum sample set out for you guys who want to debate whether or not drum sampling is the ultimate evil. This is the guy who does engineering and producing for one of my favorite bands that I didn't even know about until pretty recently, but man, I love them so much, is Amaranth. This is his drum sample set, and right now it's only for Steven Slate Trigger, which I'm not super thrilled about, but you know, I bought Trigger the second it came out back in the day, so I have it. I had some trouble doing the copy protection shenanigan dance when I tried to use it elsewhere. I had to wait till business hours and everything else, and not super thrilled about it being Trigger only, but they're good. It made me install Trigger again on all my computers, and I really like them. And you know, if you go and listen to Jacob's work, I think you'll probably like these drum samples. They got like the room sounds, all different size rooms, overheads, close mics, top, bottom, all the stuff you'd expect. I don't think he gives you any presets, so you just kind of load them in there and set them up the way you want. But I pretty much just left them at 0 and picked one of the room sizes, and they work pretty good for me. I'll be hopefully doing some stuff live with them later on this afternoon. But I love this guy's work. He uses a Intuos pad instead of a mouse for running his DAW, at least in the videos that I've seen. And I talked to him a little bit about it, and I tried, man. I'm still trying. I don't get it. It makes a lot of sense to me, but I'm not there dexterity wise yet. If any of you guys running these kind of things, like the Intuos or what do you call it? An Intuos pad. Let me see. Wacom, Intuos. Let's see what they got here. I think he told me what model he uses, but it's like one of these things, pen and tablet thing. The one I have, it's not super duper crazy good. I hear there's versions with like better pen feel or whatever, but I think I tried pretty much the same one that he runs, which maybe, I don't think it's one of these Bluetooth things. Yeah, see, I need to run this more. I just didn't try hard enough. I actually originally also bought this for whiteboarding, which I haven't done enough of either. So maybe I'll get back into that. But if you guys are running these things on your DAWs, let me know. And if you guys are using this Jacob Hansen drum sample set, I think it was like $60. Let's see, there's like a deluxe pack, one shots pack, and both packs bundle. I didn't get the one shots. I don't know what's in there. Let's see, 32 snares and 14 kicks. But I just bought the deluxe packs. Says 12 snares, including side stick and rim hits, 8 kicks, 3 sets of toms, 7 to 9 round robin layers, 10 velocity layers for the snares, and 6.36 gigabytes in total. Not that this is a commercial for this, but like I said, I really like Jacob Hansen's work. And I know I was asking a couple months ago about new drum samples and things. So it says all the snares have snare top, snare bottom, overhead, room close, room medium, room far. Some have an extra channel for attack or sustain, which can come in handy. I'm not sure what that is, but the kick samples have kick inside and outside. Sub, like one of those sub kick things, overheads, room close, room medium, room far, and some have an extra trigger sample, which is an old school D drum trigger recorded directly, which has a great snappy sound that you can add attack to your kick drums with. I was actually using that the other day, pretty good. The toms have the same thing: tom, top, bottom, overhead, room close, room medium, room far, and I really had a good time with these so far. I always, with that kind of music, you think the drum samples are, they're kind of hokey, because it's meant to be this kind of almost techno kind of stuff. But man, these things sound real for just basic stuff. I really like them. So go check them out if you're into that kind of thing. Unfortunately, I guess maybe we can get to this later, but I made the mistake of posting in Facebook at the Stephen Slate plugins forum or something, and I found out, I guess Stephen Slate doesn't own Slate anymore. He's got, I think he still has the trigger and the drum samples, maybe the Ravens and the microphones. I'm not sure. Actually, I don't know what the hell he still owns, but be sure that if it is Stephen Slate that you want to deal with, that he actually owns the company you're thinking about, because apparently he doesn't anymore. So let's take a look. Stephen Slate. Do they even make the Ravens anymore? So there's Slate MT. I don't know if that's them. So let's see. Slate Media Technology. I don't know who owns what anymore. What about the Slate microphones? Does he still run that? No. So okay, so Slate Digital, I'm pretty sure is the one that got sold off. That has like all the plugins and all that stuff. So, wow. I guess maybe Stephen Slate just has the Stephen Slate drums and trigger. I don't know. Interesting. But just be aware of that. I didn't know what was going on. But I talked to tech support, and I'm pretty sure it's some of the guys who were there at the very beginning. So that's actually kind of cool. All right. Next up, Alejandro Hernandez has made a new website where he'll be uploading all sorts of tips and resources for Reaper. It could suck, but could be really cool. So let's go check his stuff out if we can actually get to it. Where is the website? Did you put a link to it here, guy? No. Let's take a look. So it's Reaper tips. Maybe it's reapertips.com. Who knows? There's his Instagram. Here's his Gumroad. See, he was on Reaper blog already. Boy, he kind of looks like a more Latin John Tidy, huh? But I don't know. This could be cool. I always like when people are making new educational sources. So I say give them a try if I could find the damn site. Let's take a look. Reaper tips on Instagram. This is a ZNAP link. Let's go to that. All right. You know what? I really don't like when it's just grab my free ebook thing. But hopefully, let's just hope that this is actually good. Could be great. Let's see if he actually posts a website soon. All right. Next thing. So let me go check out the gear page, and this just goes to, and I'm glad it hasn't devolved into this yet. Or actually, let me refresh it and see if it did. But This goes to what we always talk about here. This is a technical question deserving a technical answer, not moral preaching or sermonizing. And sure enough, this guy's asking about. Been thinking about buying Steven Slate trigger. I have some questions. Is that the best product to use to buy to replace drum hits? Is it easy to use? How taxing is it on the computer? Do you have to run a separate plugin for each drum you want to replace? I'm mainly recording rock, country, roots, acoustic stuff. Which expansion packs are worth owning? Which should be the first you'd buy? Thanks. Okay. Wow, this guy does a lot of different kinds of music. So, but it'll work for all of them, I would think. Is this the best product to buy to replace drum hits? Well, it's the only product you can buy that you can put Jacob Hansen's drum sets on right now. But I really like UVI drum replacer. It won't do all of what Trigger does, or at least as far as I know. You can't do I think you could do round robins, or you could do velocity layers. I don't think you can do both, but it had a lot of really cool stuff. The detector was pretty damn good. You could just use it as a gate if you really wanted, but actually I think people do it with Trigger as well. I have this. I haven't been using it as much lately. I should, but I haven't been doing that much drums lately, but that's changing in the last couple of weeks, thankfully. Is it easy to use? Yeah, I think Trigger is pretty damn easy to use. How taxing is it on the computer? Not very. Early Slate stuff could be goofy, but I don't remember it even being an issue anymore. Remember, there's a lot of latency on these kind of things, so there may not be really a live mode the way Drumagog has, but there's not a lot of troubles that Drumagog had. Even though you guys know me, I've been a Drumagog freak since day one. I think I released the first third-party drum samples for Drumagog, but I don't run it anymore. Do you have to run a separate plugin for each drum you want to replace? Yes, but it's not that bad. It's not as bad as you might think. I'm recording mainly rock, country, which would be the first packs you buy. If you buy the platinum one, it comes with a lot of sounds. Honestly, it's probably like impulses. You better be able to use any of them and get a good sound out of them. But I'm lazy, so I'm using the Jacob Hansen ones right now. I got the Chris Lord-Alge. I got what was it? The Deftones one, and I got the platinum one. So let's see. Somebody about the same one as I did, Chris Lord-Alge and the Blackbird. I didn't get the Blackbird one. Wait for Black Friday, and I'm sure Trigger and additional drum packs will be on sale. There's a utility you could use to convert sample wave files to Trigger format. I've tried that. I actually have that on mine. I made some TCI files for one of my drum sets back in the day. Yeah, I put it. Wow. So somebody says I've had good results with Drumagog. That's cool. I really like that company. That really Drumagog. For those of you who don't know, Drumagog is the product that got me off of tape, or it didn't get me off of tape at first, but it definitely got me onto the computer. Being able to do the triggering on the computer was so much better. I could visually go in and fix all the stuff. If you saw in the old days, we used to lock ADATs to our tape recorders, and they just have trigger pulses on them, and you'd slip and slide them, track delay them in order to get them to line up in time with the real samples. You'd delay your tape recorder and track advance. I mean, it's just crazy what you had to do. And then now visually, just throw it in. You have to, actually, at the time I was doing it in SoundForge. I couldn't even do it in real time. I would export the track to SoundForge, create the trigger track, and send it back to a tape recorder. Wow. So Drumagog, man. All right. Here's something. Okay. So the name of this thread, and I think this says a lot. Let's see. Let me just clean this up. Okay. It says, holy crap, does recording reveal one's weaknesses? So this guy's original poster says, It's my second week in Austin, Texas, recording my second album. After 7 days of work, I feel like I just ran 2 marathons in tandem. I still have 5 days and 5 songs to go. I thought one of my strengths was locking in with the rhythm section. Au contraire. I need to work on this further and heavily when I get home. And this is just one of my revealed emphasized weaknesses. Thank goodness for Logic Pro and experienced, tasteful, skillful producers and engineers. The album is coming out well because my songs are, thankfully, inherently strong. I brought 18 new ones with me, only 12 will make the album, and I'm being produced well, but the first thing I'm doing upon returning home is investing in a new metronome. Now serve me a slice of humble pie. Okay, first of all, I would extremely strongly recommend something like Guitar Pro or ToneLib Jam, I think it's called. The difference between how we learned with metronomes, which is good, at least you're doing with the metronome, and these new types of software. Like if you watch the kids who are coming up learning on these, they run circles around us, and there's no real way around it. They've got years on us. We could try and catch up with them, but they're learning this while they're still young enough to learn languages. It's amazing what you can do with the software. But even for us old people, you can get good at new things very fast with the way these things work with their progressive tempos and things like that. There's a lot of really good features on Guitar Pro that would help. Man, I sound like a commercial. Sorry. But one of the things, a lot of bands have an aha moment in the studio that, oh wow, I'm not as good as I thought I was. Or one of the things that often you see is the whole band say, wait, you were playing that? Like they never actually knew what the other guys were playing really until they hear it recorded. And it often really tightens them up. Let me put my response in here. Let's see if I got banned for it, but you never know on the gear page. So I said, and I'll tell this is exactly how I feel. This first post is indicative of someone who will massively level up because of this recording experience. It's the right attitude and mindset that even if this recording absolutely epically fails to reach anyone ever, it was still money very well spent. Whenever we had unsigned bands in the studio, I came to expect that after the next show they played, they'd say, our audience said this is the tightest they've ever seen us play, ever, by far. Some people take the challenges and pains they meet in the studio and turn Uber. Sounds like the OP is one of them. This is my experience. And, even if you're never planning on recording or making an album or whatever, record your band. Just put your phone in your room and listen to it. It's absolutely mind-blowing how much better, well, egos permitting, it's mind-blowing how much better bands are after they've heard a recording of themselves. And especially if they've learned how to deal with what they heard when they recorded themselves. Really, really being conscious about making mud, either in the writing or in the tones or in the playing. Being on time, cleaning stuff up, left hand, right hand problems on the guitar. It's just amazing how much a recording gives you a book you can read that you can go back or forward in time and really look at everything. And it's something you just can't do. All these guys say, oh yeah, but we're so good live. I've never heard a band that was good live that sucked in the studio. I know the legends are out there, but usually if they're good live, they'll be excellent in the studio. And and conversely, there's people who can punch their way through a studio and not really be able to play the stuff live. Especially in the age of guitar parts that are all crazy sped up in the studio and nowhere near that fast live, or so sloppy as hell if they do try and play it that fast. But this is something to think about. And I think, we talk about recordings because we want to hear this killer mix, or we want to have this album or whatever. But remember that recording is one of the best teaching experiences you can possibly get. All right, so next thing, start closing these. Okay, so this is been having an error. I guess this goes back quite a ways when Line 6 Helix Native first came out. A lot of people were just unable to register it on their computers. And in a couple places, it looked like tech support had given up. And this issue keeps coming back. I actually had it running on one of the problem computers for a while, but after this new update, I can't get it running again. So I'm saying trying to find workarounds or solutions to known Helix native blank screen issues. Somehow I got this new one to show. Google has some others having the same issue but no solutions. And it was a failed to connect to DSP engine. There's a code with that. And that's the first error. And then after that, if you can get past that, usually it'll just give you a blank screen on the Helix plugin. And whatever causes this also seems to cause Helix native to get messed up. And this is when I talk about what the sphincters say. Most everybody I've got muted on here, or ignored or whatever, so you can't actually see it. But when technical questions come up, it's so weird that we see this in everything where people just circle the wagons, just attack the guy asking the technical question. And so here's this passive aggressive chode head right here. It says, for someone with a lot of purported tech knowledge, you do seem very adept at finding problems, even more talented at failing to solve them. Ha 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 ha. I've never encountered the issue on Mac or PC or any DAW I've tried. If it was a common problem, it would have come up. I'm guessing it has something to do with particulars about the system in question, probably permissions, if I were to wildly speculate. Just do what everyone says, wipe the installation, reinstall, reauthorize. Everybody's done that. All the people who, so it is a common problem. So if you would have actually checked the links that I posted, you would have seen that this was a common problem. But I love this, even more talented at failing to solve them. I'm not the coder. Hey, I've sent code to some of these companies to fix some of their problems, and some of them have taken it and fixed their problems. Others have refused and not fixed their problems, or others have refused and eventually found a way to fix their problems. But it's the craziest thing. For someone with a lot of purported technology, you do seem to be very talented at finding problems. Yes, if you're working on this stuff all the time, you're going to find the problems. Companies like to send me stuff early because I find the bugs. And I don't mean to. I just go and use the product. And, I end up getting the bugs. So that's how it is. And this idea that, I've never had a problem, so... this is some Niemoller level stuff, right? Those guys have never bothered me. I don't care that they're, putting people in ovens and doing all kinds of crazy things, but they never bothered me, so they must be okay, It's always that thing. I've never had this bug, so it must be you, or it's okay, No, dummy. So here we go. Here's our blank screen. This is what happens. And it's a bummer. We talk about this forum stuff all the time where noobs are asking questions at like the Reaper user group or whatever, and people just start attacking them for it. Like, stop being chodes, man. So I just, of course, me, I sometimes I have to fight the fight before I put somebody on ignore. And, so I kind of just loaded up piles of results of how many people are having this problem. So, and then I show that, I've done my due diligence. And so I'm hoping that if anybody out there has been able to solve this particular issue with Line 6, somebody else's, I think Helix just doesn't like you, it's personal. There were a bunch of people that actually have ignored that commented, and so I had to repeat this then. I know I'm tooting my own horn here, but in case there are short memory spans causing the likely ad hominems here, let's take a second to remember all the times that I found bugs which the forum Dunning-Krugers denied till they were blue in the face, which soon enough were confirmed by the developers and felt en masse by other users as well. That's how it is. You guys just in denial. Maybe you're right, but the idea isn't to attack the person who's reporting the bug, but it turns out I was right, so whatever. And so some other doofus says you should change your name to username to Mother Teresa. Well, first of all, anybody who's actually looked into the subject doesn't want to be compared to Mother Teresa. She was a absolutely horrible person. But why the snark? Why don't you like that I'm fixing your product? When you run into this issue, you're going to wish that you would have helped or at least gotten out of the way. And so I say, imagine a place where people talk about solutions instead of insulting people who found the problems that will affect them as well. And the best response here of all, and this is what a lot of companies, I don't know if you ever been on KVR, back in the day, a lot of plug-in companies, this is what they would like to see. The guy says, well, stop finding bugs. It's true. It would be better. Speaking of Dunning-Krugers, let's see. I don't think, actually there weren't a problem in this one, but I was looking, I think we asked about this. In the old days, there were some Goto products, I think just the Ibanez ones, that had spring retainer like blocks on the tremolo sustain blocks, or the big fat block thing that's on the bottom of a tremolo to hold the tremolo springs in. And I wanted to see if I could get some, and I asked everybody. There's all these experts out there who claim to be reviewing and testing this stuff, and they were talking about the Goto 1996 tremolo. Hold on, I gotta block somebody here. Okay, sorry. So there we go. There was all these guys pretending to review the Goto 1996 T tremolo, which is like a Floyd Rose tremolo, and I asked all of them that I could find if it had spring retainer blocks on the bottom, and they either ignored me or they said, I don't know. I didn't get an actual answer. I ended up buying one, and so I'll tell you, on the bottom there's screw holes, and those screw holes are adjacent to the tremolo springs. They're built in a way that when you put screws in the screw holes, it locks the tremolo springs down. Those are locked in place, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. So that's the answer. But unfortunately, people don't answer. And so here, I'll give you a great one. Oops, let me get this out of here. So I said, does anyone sell sustain blocks for Floyds that have the spring retainers like some of the old Ibanez tremolos have? And man, when you get sphincters in a forum and you wonder sphincters say what, this is what that what is. We had one guy that says Stu Mac, as if you didn't check Stu Mac at first, right? And so I said, hey, have you seen one on there? They say they don't sell one. I actually asked Stu Mac. They said they don't sell one. And I show here, it looks like these guys used to sell one. They're called Killer Guitar Components, but they're no longer in business, or they're off a reverb or something. I'm not sure what happened to them, but they had a thing called the KCG Big Brass Block. Let me see if I can open this. Yeah, right here. So this thing has like a bar that has two screws that lock your springs in place. Looks pretty cool. $78, and says the listing suspended, and I can't find anything about this company anywhere. And so, I ask, did you see one? Because it's crickets after that. So this other guy, so here you go, another sphincter here, says Sweetwater, musician's friend. And I say, neither of those carry this product that I see. Do you see one there? That's a question. Do you see one there, since you're the one talking about it? Sweetwater specifically says they don't know where to get one besides KGC, who no longer sells them. So then he says, musician's friend, there's a menu. Then there says accessories. Click on tools, scroll to page 5. Tools. Put in musiciansfriend.com. And so I do. And I say, I don't see tremolo blocks in there. And I ask the question, did you see one? No, nothing. And so I show him, here's all the blocks I can find in Musician's Friend. Do you see any others? And the answer is, that is their app logo. And so again, this guy says, Musician's Friend app on Google Apps. And I ask, and again, trying to get specific. Like, this is like when you're dealing with apologetics they just will never answer a direct question, right? So I'm saying, what are you trying to say? Have you actually seen one? He says, if you want to download the app, that's where to find it. I said, sorry, for the third time, have you actually seen one? I say, okay, I got the app. Same thing. I don't see any with spring retainers. Do you see one? Here's the search in the app. And so I put a picture up of what I see. There's nothing in there. And Cyril, no answer. And here, I show you another chode. This is, so I got a hydraulic gyro from my dirt jumper, which is absolutely awesome. It's not working super great yet, but I'm working on it. It's getting there. I actually got some new parts today to try on it. And so I was asked, this was my first time trying a banjo fitting for hydraulic lines and was leaking a bit. When I went to fix it, I ended up breaking the bolt that goes through the banjo fitting. Does anyone know where to buy those? This one uses 2 copper washers instead of O-rings. Everything I see on Amazon is like 4 to 6 weeks delivery. Surely there has to be a better source. It's pretty much this exact one. I'm ordering this one, but I'm hoping there's some available sooner. And so I show, pictures of what these things are and stuff. And obviously, I've gone through the searches and everything, and I'm asking for a better source. Some douche says bike shop. Why the hell would you say something like that? What is wrong with you? All right, so another question here, and this is one that comes up all the time, and says, as the title suggests, what is the best interface as of now in 2022? In terms of quality, in terms of the whole package, possibly plugins, in terms of the IOs overall. A little insult. I'm willing to buy a universal audio interface, but is the universal audio interface really the best just because it's most taxing for my budget? Just want to get some insight on what producers, musicians think. Thanks, y'all. Now, to me, the proper answer, assuming you can get the form factor correct, the proper answers right here from Cruciform. I used to have these kind of questions. My only question these days is which ones have the best drivers. Okay. Now, I have a very bad taste in my mouth from Universal Audio. I don't really want anything to do with them. I wouldn't recommend them. We've exposed many times about the nonsense about how much DSP these things use. The DSP on them is pathetically weak, and it turns out that you could run so much more stuff with a lot less trouble, a lot less problems, a lot less CPU use and stuff, just running them natively. And a lot of people are just saying RME. I said RME, what Cruciform said. If the question is really what interface will work perfectly well and be sonically indistinguishable from any other high-quality interface and latency is not at issue, then the answer is tons of them from a $60 Behringer on up. If you need certain things like real-time effects, routing, mixers, etc., it gets a little bit more complicated. But really, if you just want an interface and you don't care, as long as you're okay underneath the 13 millisecond kind of psychological barrier for some people, man, even the Behringer stuff, it's all going to sound good. I challenge any of you guys to ABX between the most expensive interface and the cheapest, unless you're doing something purposely to make it sound crappy. Remember, this is one of the few places here you're listening to right now that's actually measured these things and tested, noise, distortion, frequency response, and all that. And it's pretty damn close, man. There's some that are a little bit noisier than others, but I don't know that you're actually going to hear that in real use unless it's like a pathological signal. A lot of people are recommending RME. And somebody asked, okay, because we've talked about this on the show before. Miroslav, actually, who I really like, he asked, I don't see too many people here ever mention the Antelope Audio stuff. Is that too far out of budget for a typical home studio? And I say, probably because those guys make absolutely audiophile, insane, baseless claims about clock magic and then try to put audiophile prices on them. And man, we talk about clocks all the time here. Clocks are not magic. They're not going to make your signal super mochi better, whatever crap. I got some crap about, what baseless claims I'm talking about. And so I put a picture up of just one of their ads where it says, Clock is an epiphany of more than 20 years experience in the digital audio world, making vividly real the clarity, depth, width, and three-dimensionality distinctive of the analog sound. All right. What measure do you measure depth, width, clarity, and three-dimensionality in? Okay. If the thing is flat, it's flat. If it's distortion-free, it's distortion-free. If it's noise-free, it's noise-free. I don't know what you want. Are you talking about the distortion? Do you want the noise of analog? Do you want the wow and flutter? I mean, it's a clock. It's not going to do anything magic. And I got a lot of crap that this is why should I make, claims like that? It's this is exactly what we take on the show all the time. But I did say, on the other hand, I think Jim Roseberry said the Antelope drivers are actually good. And I'll put this in Antelope's defense here. Here's what Jim Roseberry had to say, actually. The Antelope drivers are fantastic. Rock solid, ultra low round trip latency. Using an Orion Studio Synergy core, I can run IK's Tone X at 96K using a 16 sample ASIO buffer size. Less than half a millisecond total round trip latency. That's far lower than my previous RME Fireface UFX Plus. I can tell you that nearly all of our professional composer clients, TV film composers, are running Antelope audio interfaces. The one criticism I have about Antelope, they have a means of overcomplicating things. But he said he really seems to like it. Now, a lot of people are talking about, UAD, but, to me, if he's asking about audio quality, the crappiest one's going to be fine. If you can't make a killer sounding album on the worst Behringer out there, you got no business doing this anyway. Even if you're a noob, you'll be fine. But yeah, I got a bunch of crap about the Antelope thing, and I really don't care. Luckily, Magus came up and he says, okay, so he said a good word clock is why a good interface sounds so open and three-dimensional. And this guy, let me have to like this. This is Magus Ferox again. This literally does not mean anything. In a guitar context, open seems to mean either brighter or less compressed. 3D in this context literally has no meaning. Yes, no meaning. I've delivered masters before and been complimented on how deep and 3D they were, which is funny because almost every time it happened, the chain is EQ, turn down the difference signal, very light saturation, loudest harmonic around -40, clipping and limiting. I'd say it's because of some special analog magic, but it happens with an all in the box masters. This particular aspect seems to have no effect on it. What of the signal chain gives it the 3D-ness? And so he says again, the consequences of a word clock's jitter are exponentially more distracting than the consequences of a tape machine's wow and flutter. And Magus says, no, they're not. They're basically the same thing, except the tape machines were all worse. You couldn't get a tape machine anywhere as close to as stable as a digital thing. Says when you shift a sample in time, it changes the shape of the reconstructed analog wave post-DA conversion by skewing the slope, which is exactly what happens when a tape machine's speed changes. The other way to think about it in terms of additive synthesis is that it adds some inharmonic noise by unpredictably changing the shape of the signal. But it just sounds like noise. Yeah, that's the important part. It just sounds like noise. It's not nearly enough to change the pitch of a wave. The thing is that in any digital system with jitter measured in nanoseconds, the noise is well below 100 decibels. And he put up a picture from actually Ken Pullman, Principles of Digital Audio, and he's showing some jitter and stuff. He says high-end modern clocks are accurate to picoseconds or occasionally femtoseconds, which are 1,000 and 1 million times better. I think he meant to say which are in between 1,000 and 1 million times better in terms of clock accuracy, respectively, than that graph. The Focusrite Solo uses a nanosecond accurate phase lock loop, so it's even better than the graph above. If you need to prove it to yourself, there are some listening tests with artificially induced jitter that is orders of magnitude worse than any word clock that isn't flat out broken. But it's not worth worrying about, and it's not a reason one converter sounds better or worse than another unless you're comparing something broken to something not broken. And that's really what this is about. Let me see. So let me just show you. So here we go. Here's the Antelope. Here's some of this Antelope stuff. If I go to Vintage King, Antelope Trinity Audio Master Clock. Now remember, a clock is something you used to buy for $100 or $60. Art used to sell them for $60. You might need a distributor that I think Antelope used to, not Antelope, Aardvark. Apparently the same guy who works at Antelope used to work at Aardvark here. But man, was Aardvark, it was just a couple $100 or whatever. I've got two of them. I got them here at the school. I've got an Aardvark Master Clock, and they're from like 1998 or 1999. So I'm sure they're way worse than what's available now. But even back then, it was fine. But this is a $3,400 for a freaking $60 clock, man. This is absolutely bonkers. Now, this thing has a lot of output, so you don't have to buy a second one for a distribution system or whatever. But holy crap, $3,500. Let's look at the claims they make. Let's see. See, the Trinity is the best sounding and most versatile master clock. Okay, could be. I don't think you're ever going to hear that sound. Verispeed, that's actually handy. But okay, so here we go. 4th generation of acoustically focused clocking. Really? Employing 64-bit DSP leads to a new level in detailed and focused sound. Okay, what do we measure that in? And if I gave the Antelope guys an ABX test between somebody else's clock and their clock, would they be able to tell the difference? I don't think so. Let's see. Wealth of rear panel. See, they have some handy stuff in there if you need it. Comprehensive audio gearboxing for anything in, anything out. That's smart. Atomic input for ultimate performance. Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking for any of these audio claims because that's where I get mad at the clock guys. Look, if your clock works and keeps things from clicking and popping, that sounds right. Brand new. Oh, so this is a brand new integration that leads to an even tighter and more focused sound quality. What do we measure that in? Really, if you're making something, you can tell me what units you're measuring it in. The 4th generation of acoustically focused clocking with 64-bit DDS plays a major role in why Trinity makes your converters sound even better than ever. Okay, now, from Dan Lavery's mouth, as far as I know, unless your system is broken, any external clock is going to sound worse than just clocking with your internal clock. But we do have to use external clocks because maybe we got to put a bunch of devices together. So, it is a necessary evil in some cases, but this stuff is just insane. Let's look. Here's what are we seeing here? Versatile, the most musical and reliable. Like what are you measuring musical? So this is just their clocks. This is why I'm talking crap about these guys, because what the hell clock magic nonsense. Anyway, so that's really all I got today. Is here we are with Antelope and their freaking clocks again. But I spent the last couple parts of days anyway mixing some grindcore stuff. Wow. Okay, we'll see how that turns out. I did end up buying the Track Spacer plugin. I don't think it was very much money. I actually like it. It's very handy for this. This is a really dense mix, and I know you're not supposed to use magical plug-in tricks and stuff, but this really helps get the vocals hearable without, completely destroying the mix. I actually like that thing a lot. Let me find it. Track Spacer. Waves Factory. Yeah, $30, $29.50. This is one of those plugins where it's like a collision detector, but it automatically ducks the clashing frequencies down. You can kind of control a little bit of it. I'd like to see a little bit more control on here, so I think we might try and add this functionality to one of our plugins. So, we'll talk about that later. But that's all I got for today. I'll see you guys next week, and hopefully I'll be on time.